Hello, welcome my resin monkeys to this third and final installment of the amazing skin tone tutorial guide. In the last video, I talked about the pre-mixed lacquer skin tones, but the ones that are, you know, opaque. This video, oh, this is going to be something special. In this video, I am going to talk about clear lacquer skin tone paints. So I am recording this at the same time that I recorded the previous one because I wanted to get the two videos out and about. So I'm not sure how much time it's been, and I haven't really read your comments on that future video from my time. So I will still read the comments and I'll respond to most of them if there are comments or questions at, you know, in the comment section below. God help me. All right, before we start, again, I need to remind you again about safety. Previously on the amazing skin tone guide. First of all, lacquers are very toxic if inhaled, so you need a spray booth. And secondly, you will need a face mask. You will need your spray booth and you will need your mask, your N95 mask grade. Now I need to give you guys a disclaimer, another disclaimer. This is the clear skin tone method. It's not a skill per se, you acquire it, but at the beginning, you will have a little trouble with it if you've never done it before. The first time I tried it, I was really underwhelmed and probably overwhelmed and I was disappointed. And this is because the way that, you know, my original post on this clear skin tone recipe was interpreted, or I interpreted in that way, is that you needed to mix both, you know, orange and red in the mix. And it appears you don't. You don't really need to do that. So after a few years of disappointment and fear of fucking up again, I decided to try it again, maybe a couple years back, and I started to practice and practice until now I got it right now. And it's easy for me to paint with this method, but I know it's not gonna be for many of you. And I'm just going to say this, don't get discouraged if you don't get the results you want. Practice, do it again, strip the paint, you know, try it and try again, you know, until you get it. There's no rule that says that once you messed up, you're always gonna mess up. No, you just gotta practice. So that's the disclaimer. This is an advanced technique for painting skin, so just be warned. I know a lot of, you know, from the results that we're gonna see, these are really awesome. I'm not gonna lie, but no, just, you know, throwing it out there for you guys. So just a note before we dive into this tutorial slash guide, I'm not even sure what it is. Is it a guide or a tutorial? Let's do both. The secret to this technique is building your color in light layers. And you heard that right. First, you need to do your shadings, 2-3 layers max, and then apply 1 or 2 layers, very light layers, to the entire piece so that you can blend those shadings. That's how this technique works. In all honesty, I didn't really interpret this recipe maybe in a right way. I was going through this with my eyes closed actually, so I've never tried it. You know, confession time, I've never really did tried it before I published it, so. But now that I've gotten used to, you know, applying this technique, yeah, I want to show how to apply it with an updated view on it. And in keeping with old tradition, I want to show you how to mix your own paint in case you don't want to buy them because you already have the colors at hand. There was a recipe that I had obtained thanks to Jan Kleber from back in the days when the e-forums were alive and well. The recipe called for 10 milliliters clear paint, 5 to 7 drops of clear orange, and 1 to 2 drops of fluorescent pink. But since I don't want nor need such a big batch of colors, I'll be using 3 millimeter clear paint, 5 drops of clear orange, and 1.5 drop of fluorescent pink. pink. And add equal amounts of thinner and boom! You got your orange tone mixed. Now to get your red undertones, all you need is the same thing, but this time just change the clear orange for the clear red, and you got your clear red tone mix. As I mentioned at the beginning, you do need to apply few layers to pre-shade, and then you need to apply 1 or 2 light layers to the entire surface to blend your shadings. What I am left with is this very pink reddish skin tone, which is pretty nice, a little plain, but still nice. It's a nice. Applying the orange one brings you with the same result. It's really nice. It's very similar to the ones that, the industry uses for PVCs. Now the reason for these videos to be so delayed was this new line of paint by Mr. Hobby. This is the biscuit?
Lascivus.
Sorry, my Latin is very rusty. These are their pre-mixed line, but they're kind of a hybrid of the regular method of opaque paints with the clear method. They are a two-step method. Your first step is to use the base color. One of them is called white peach and the other one chocolate milk. And we have 3 different clear paints: pale red, orange, and brown. So we basically get 3 different tones and one which a lot of people have struggled to do, which is the tan skin, and I'm very curious to see how this will result. I'll start with applying the base color. Now I'm going to apply the clear paint, which is the pale red, and I'll start by adding shadows to the piece, and once I'm satisfied with 2 coats, I'm now going to apply 2 more light coats to the entire area. And I'm satisfied at this point with 2 coats. So now I'm going to apply 2 more light coats to the entire surface. And it's a very nice result.
I'm a ticking bomb, 'cause I'm crazy for you.
This time I'm adding the pale orange, and I think the result is a little tiny bit tanned, but it still works really great. And now, the pièce de résistance. Starting with the base color, let's use our chocolate milk. And now that I'm looking at it, I really want some chocolate milk. It's pretty dark, but it does look a little pale at the same time. So let's see how the clear shadings look like. Okay, it does give a nice brown color, but I still feel this is maybe a tad too dark even for tanned or dark anime figures, but nowhere does it say that you can't experiment with the other base color. So you might want to try using the clear brown on the white peach. Now passing on to our friendly neighbor Gaia Notes, they also have a pre-made skin tone set, red and orange as per usual. But these are very different paints. These are surfaceless paints, meaning that you do not need a primer to use them. You can just basically apply them to the surface of an unprimed piece. If your resin is white as snow and had no issues with seam lines, gaps, or pinholes, then you might want to look into this paint. Before we continue, a friend of mine said to dilute the paint with the clear paint as the color is really strong. So that's what I'm going to do at this point. I haven't used these paints myself, so this is also my first experience with them. Let's start with the red undertones. All my previous test pieces were primed with white primer. I have left these two without. This paint also goes on in the areas where you want to shade first. Also doing 2 or 3 layers max, and then finishing with 1 or 2 light layers to cover the entire surface. It looks relatively nice. I like the effect so far. Let's check out the orange one. Oi. Oi, 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 oi. This doesn't look orange one bit, it's basically yellow. I'm sure that diluting the paint didn't have anything to do with this because it didn't affect the red one, so I'm sure that if I left the paint as is, it would have been even stronger. So I hate to say this, but with all the clear paint so far, this is my first disappointment. And last but not least, a hobby paint that comes from Taiwan. The brand is called Modal Colours, and the paint is called Pro Mix. The first time I saw their demo video, I was underwhelmed with the results. But I think it had to do with their lighting because it wasn't great in the video. Plus it had like a bluish tint to it, meaning that they didn't really color it correct. So let's see if this paint can impress me now that I have them in the flesh. Get it? Flesh. These are also lacquers, but they will need their own line of thinner as they're not compatible with the other two brands. So just like the, pardon my Latin, lascivious line, they also have a paint which is applied in 3 steps. You initiate with a white base, and then apply your Pro Mix shadow effect, then your Pro Mix skin color, and finalize with your Pro Mix skin effect. Just like we did with the rest of them, adding 2 or 3 light layers again, depending on your personal taste. Now let's apply the Pro Mix skin color, which is not entirely opaque, but not clear, it's semi-opaque. That looks pretty nice so far. But I wonder how the last step will play because it looks finished to me like this. This is definitely a clear paint and just barely has a light pink tintish to it. But hey, who am I to judge? It says to do step 3, so I'm gonna do step 3. And I don't see a big change. It's just a very light tone that doesn't affect step 1 and 2. So let's do our final test with Modal Colours for their Pro Mix orange color. Same as before, going with the shading effect. It's a very nice color, not exactly like the other orange test we've done. It's kind of its own thing, which I like. Alright, done with the shadings, now let's do the skin color. finalizing with the Promex skin effect. And again, not a lot of change, but there's something I did notice just now as I was going to place this piece aside. The paint does look very glossy when you finish adding step 2. And now that I look at the last piece, I'm realizing that step 3 is kind of a sealing step. It's gotten the original gloss relatively matte. Well, mystery solved, I guess. And there you have it. You know, the 3 main brands that I'm using for this demonstration. These are, you know, again, Mr. Hobby, Gaia Notes, and Modal Colours, which is a brand new, you know, brand that I've never used, like honestly never used. And honestly, all of these skin tone colors, all the results were amazing. I have a hard time deciding which one is my favorite, except for the yellow one. Yeah, that was a fail, total fail. Like, no, no, no. So there you have it. I hope a lot of you that have been, you know, sending me comments or messages saying, oh, I'm waiting for you to finish these tutorials because I want to start painting my own figure. You know what, I want to say something. If you start painting your kits after watching my tutorials, at least on skin tones, I want to see your work by tagging me either on Instagram or Twitter. Like, my handles are right here. You can see them here or in the description box below. And if you're on Facebook, you know, leave a comment on my page with a picture and I will give you guys shout outs in my videos because I really, really want to see what you guys do with the information that I've been giving you all these years. Honestly, some people have sent me, you know, pictures of their works and I'm like, oh wow, I mean, this person was able to paint this kit because of me. And I'm like, oh, that feels so awesome. Like, to be someone's guide in a new hobby that they've never actually been in before and not find it difficult as I did when I started. And like many of us that, you know, are veterans, many of us really didn't know much about it. So we kind of had to self-teach ourselves. But, you know, my videos give you a shortcut to that. Everything is in one place. You don't have to scour the internet as I did when I started for information. So I really want to see your works. So tag me and, you know, I'll give you a shout out in a future video. Now, before I go, I want to remind you guys that there are a lot of information in the description box, a lot of links to useful tools and materials that I personally use and buy all the time. From, you know, material like putty, rotary tools, even a spray booth. Like this same spray booth that I use, you know, it's listed down there in the description box, with and without the light. Also, full disclosure, those links are also affiliate links just like the last ones. So if you buy directly from those links, you will not only be getting a really good deal on materials and tools, you will also be helping me with a little bit of commission from each one of those. Now, you got the same price, Amazon gives you the same price, and I just get a little bit, half of it, just a tiny bit. You know, just saying, in case you didn't see my subliminal message throughout the video. So that is it, my resin monkeys. I have nothing else to pitch you at this moment, at least for skin tones. So I'm gonna end it right here. And finally, I'm able to finish an actual series. So celebrate! I enjoyed filming all this for you guys and for myself as well, because honestly, those clear skin tones look amazing. And I'm gonna have a hard time picking which one I wanna use for my next personal garage kit, not commissions. So I hope you enjoyed this guide, and remember about what I said earlier, that I want to see your works. Remember, you know, tag me at Leona's Workshop on any of my social media. It's all the same. So until next time, my resin monkeys, bye-bye.
We'll be right back.